The internet rewards confidence, not expertise. Confidence is currently beating expertise, and it's a problem. I've been thinking about something recently, and I can't quite let it go. It feels like the world right now is rewarding confidence over expertise. Not necessarily who knows the most, but who sounds the most certain. And the more I pay attention to it, especially online, the more I realize that this might not necessarily be random. And I found that there's actually psychology behind it. And once I started seeing it, I just couldn't unsee it. I did some research and I found something called the Dunning-Kruger Effect. And it explains this perfectly. In simple terms, it means the less someone knows about a subject, the more likely they are to overestimate how much they know. Not because they're trying to mislead anyone per se, but because they don't yet have the awareness to see what they're actually missing. And so they speak with certainty, they sound confident, and they're taking up space. And then on the other hand, we see true experts who understand the nuance and complexity of a subject, and so they hesitate and they go deeper to learn about this subject without necessarily going to speak on it and perform. And when you place that into today's internet, it becomes amplified because social media is rewarding speed, volume, certainty, visibility. So what we're seeing rising to the top are these people who are speaking the loudest, the fastest, and they sound so sure, even when the information isn't fully there. Let's not act like we're not constantly seeing this online, guys. But, on the other side of things, we have the real experts, people who have spent years understanding a subject. They've seen its complexity, they understand the nuances, and because of that, they're questioning themselves more. They're hesitating more, and they're just generally taking their time. But in a system that rewards speed and certainty, that depth can actually start to look like weakness. Imagine depth looking like weakness. It's so mind-boggling, and I've been trying to wrap my mind around this the past few days. Anyway, this is where it starts to bother me because what we're doing culturally is somewhat rewarding the wrong signals. We are rewarding certainty over curiosity, confidence over competence, and visibility over depth, real depth. And that creates a very real imbalance. And we end up with people who have less knowledge, but they're getting more opportunities, financial breakthroughs, and we have people with real expertise who are just staying unseen because they're not like they're less capable, but because they're just less visible, right? And visibility right now is currency, whether we like it or not. And this is the part that I even sit with the most, because it's not as simple as saying, well, experts should just speak up more. Some people are just genuinely comfortable in their depth, and they're not trying to perform per se. They're not chasing visibility, and that's totally valid. But at the same time, we're in a world where if you're not visible, you get overlooked. Opportunities will pass you by, conversations will happen without you, and decisions will be made by louder voices. So it creates a tension in a way between staying true to your nature and adapting to the system that we're in. So the question I keep coming back to is, can we hold both? Can you be thoughtful and visible? I want to see more experts platformed, but I know that's not always their goal. But there's just too much empty noise in the world today, and I just don't think real expertise should be hidden anymore. Especially not in a world where misinformation is just traveling so fast. Maybe the responsibility now is translation. I don't know, taking depth and making it accessible without losing its integrity. This is just me thinking out loud, but man, I don't know what that's gonna look like. And I would love to hear anyone's thoughts on this. If you've thought about this, if you've been sitting with this, please let me know. I don't have a perfect answer for this. It's something I'm still thinking through. But I will say, if you have real knowledge, real experience, and a real perspective, I mean like the real deal, that makes us think and feeds us positively and allows us to question certain things. There is value in being seen, not to perform at all, but to contribute. Because if the only voices we're hearing are the loudest ones, then we're all kind of losing something. And I want to see a world where we make depth cool again. If this is something you've been thinking about too, I'd be curious to hear your perspective. And if you want more conversations like this, feel free to subscribe, check out the previous videos, and thank you for watching. And as I always say, remember that you are built different and you are built to last. I'll see you in the next one.